On today's episode of Coffee with Kevin, I am here with a decorated New Orleans musician. Decorated New Orleans musician, Chip Wilson.
I'm not sure what my awards are, but anyway, sure. You know, my award has been to be able to be here in New Orleans playing music. It's a pretty amazing thing.
And that's awesome to hear. And you know, really, New Orleans is a, in my brain, New Orleans is a feast for the senses. And so in my world, I'm
That
more
is so true.
food, I'm beverage.
Yeah.
We have architecture, and of course, music.
All goes together in our town.
It's phenomenal. And we're going to be talking on this episode very specifically about music with Chip Wilson. So
All right.
Stick with us. Chip, thank you so much for coming in to have coffee
Kevin,
with me.
thank you, sir.
Yes. So you have been a musician here in New Orleans for
Over 30 years.
over 30 years.
Yeah.
And you live over in Musicians Village.
Mm-hmm.
You come by here for coffee all the time. And really, this is one of the things with Coffee with Kevin that I really like about, to talk about people that are, you know, this is the core of the show. The core of the show is to have people like you that make New Orleans special and what it is when you stop in for coffee, to to chat with you and learn a little bit about music in New Orleans. And I am privileged to have you here.
Thank you very much.
What? So you've done a lot of recording.
Yes.
What's your number one? You've recorded. You've played live a lot at the Columns. What's your number one? Like, this is my favorite thing I've done. You like recording? You like playing live? What's your?
You know, I think the thing I like the best is playing live with other people. I've
Okay.
done literally thousands of solo gigs. And the freedom of a solo gig is wonderful, and I can kind of rearrange music as I hear it in that moment, which you can't always do with a band. But the interaction between, say, bass, drums, and guitar, or a couple of guitars, and also singing harmonies with someone, that's super important to me.
You and some guys you play with were here for our 150th
Right.
anniversary party. So that something like that really gets you going.
Yeah, that band is called Trio 38.
Trio 38.
And it's just guitar, bass, and drums with me on voice, which means I have a lot of responsibility.
You're the front man of that particular.
Yeah, but on the other hand, having the support of the rhythm section means that I can lay back on the guitar to a degree and let them carry the show.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I do, which is so important to me in these times, Kevin, is every Sunday at Trinity Church at 6 p.m., I play with Paul Weber on piano for a church service. And we do my material, songs that I've written. We do 100-year-old gospel tunes, 150-year-old gospel tunes, just
Okay,
like
so
a
you're-
big variety of stuff.
In my research on you, you know, Offbeat magazine, because I was like, what? I was trying to, and I've heard you play before, obviously, but I was like, what kind of, you know, is he jazz, is he funk, whatever? And you know, Offbeat magazine has said about you that you're more darker. Or is what they darker jazz funk, you know? Like,
Well, I think-
how do you describe yourself?
I think lyrically, especially since Hurricane Katrina, there's been a darkness to my lyrical output. And if you think about it, since that time we have had Hurricane Ida, where I lost the roof of my house. We have had the pandemic, where I actually thought I retired, basically. Who knew what was going on?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm like kind of an old dude with a history of playing in smoky bars and building guitars in dusty workshops.
I was about to say, you build guitars. That's another thing that you do.
That's a whole other deal. But, you know, the darkness, I think there's definitely some in the lyrics, but then it's offset by like this whole other genre that I write in regularly, which is gospel and for church lyrics. And sometimes they are like traditional sounding gospel lyrics, and sometimes they're like, what's my own little spiritual need today to address? And to be able to play them weekly at Trinity Church, along with this other great material with Paul Weber on piano, is one of the greatest things I do. It's not dark, it's the opposite.
It's the opposite of dark. It's light.
But
yeah. And looking toward the light,
Absolutely. But, there is darkness and light in our town, in our world, and so I think my music reflects both sides.
And so that's interesting, because when you played out front here, you had the band and stuff, and then we're also going to have you for a couple of Friday nights and out here on the front patio as well. So come out
some solo stuff
and doing some solo stuff, and then hopefully we'll get the band back again out front. And early in the beginning of the episode here, I was like, New Orleans is like, so to come in. Yeah, I mean, here we go. We've got the columns here in St. Roch that have been holding this building up for 150 years, and we're part of a building prior to this building on Canal Street, the columns, the cast iron columns.
Of course, there. Yeah.
So it's like you got the feast for the eyes. You've got all of the people in here putting out all this great food.
Yeah.
And then we've to have some live music on the front patio, something that I always see as something to add that feast for the ears here as well.
It's just also traditional, in markets and what this has evolved into. It's traditional to have music.
Yeah.
I played at the Columns Hotel for their Sunday brunch for over 20 years.
You did the Columns brunch, every 20 years.
For over 20 years, and I'm not sure that was exactly a career move in advance to take a gig like that. But the flip side is it kept a roof over my head every month, which is always negotiable. and like so many great New Orleans musicians, having a steady gig like that, as well as a steady church gig, is a time-honored thing.
And that's because New Orleans music is really about playing live. Now, historically over the years, I mean, Fats Domino, of course, has done it. But even if you go way back to the Louis Armstrong, he had to leave New Orleans to record.
Actually, really get there,
Yeah, and I feel like today we've kind of, in Alan Toussaint and all. I mean, they recorded here, and there's not a. Is there? I mean, there's some recording in town, but when you said a time-honored tradition of playing live, New Orleans is still about playing live. Where do you see New Orleans' music going in the future? You've seen it transition a lot.
Sure. I think that there's been an evolution, and we are, to some degree, in the trombone shorty age.
Okay.
I think he's probably one of our leading adherents of what the New Orleans sound is about.
It's funny, one of the things that you've told me in the past that kind of resonated with is like, you love that music, you moved down here, you've been a part of this scene now for how many albums you have?
11 or 12.
11 or 12 albums. You've collaborated with people all over town, and you said that your grandmother was actually from here.
True.
Yeah.
She was born here, Jenny Spillard or Stallard, a little hard to tell. From the handwriting, born here in 1852, and
so it's weird that there's a genetic memory.
But I didn't know that at the time. She was the child of Irish immigrants, so she was born in the U.S., but her parents were from Ireland. She ended up meeting, after the Civil War, she ended up meeting Daniel Sullivan, who was also the child of Irish immigrants, who came down with the Union Army down the Mississippi River as a boatman. And because, it's the Mississippi River. They needed some guys who knew how to run boats. And so he later worked on the Staten Island Ferry up in New York, where he took his then-to-be wife. She was probably only 14 or 15 at the time, after the Civil War. I could imagine that her family was pretty glad to have her, get married up to a Union soldier, of Irish extraction, kind of with like something going on up in New York City. Because New Orleans was in tough shape at that time, let's be real.
All right, so New Orleans was also in tough shape 20 years ago here. How's my transition there? Good. Here's Chip. Look, he's you're right here. You had a big article in USA Today.
Just a few weeks ago.
Just a few weeks ago with the 20th anniversary of Katrina stuff, and just how you've came to New Orleans, how you've really helped keep. We're a port, as you mentioned, we're a port town, and I think that there's a come here and be a part of what we're doing, and you're definitely have lived it, and I can't thank you enough for
Thank you.
Bringing your talent here and
thank you.
Adding to that,
That's
adding to the culture.
Super meaningful, and I do want to say, when I came here, I really received a really good welcome from the New Orleans music scene, generally speaking, and made a lot of friends that I have to this day. Some are gone, some are still here, but it's not necessarily that it was easy to get into being a full-time player here, but I did really receive a welcome here that
New Orleans is about mixing.
It was important to me.
And I've never been in the music world, so I can't say that.
Here's something I learned, though. People in New Orleans, musicians in New Orleans, wanted to hear my interpretations of the music and things that I might do to maybe change things up a little bit, or how I maybe heard something and then perform a song that's a New Orleans standard. But they also want to know you can do it their way too, in the traditional way. And when I started here, I got a couple of traditional jazz jobs, and I had the right hand to keep that chunk, chunk, chunk going, but I did not know nearly enough tunes. And a New Orleans-born player has a couple hundred tunes I just don't know.
Yeah, but the fun part is that I'm going to relate that to, and again, I'm more in food. I'm actually really more in beverage, but gumbo's kind of the same way, right? You got to make the roux right, but you got to know the basics.
Then you can go from there.
Right, and that's the same sort of thing.
Although a good gumbo maker will go, oh, they put red wine in this. Why'd they do that?
Yeah.
What, tomato? No, come on.
So is that the same way with music? It's like, oh, you're doing something that's like...
Ooh, I'm a harsh judge. I try to keep it to myself.
But. Yeah. Well, we let other people express themselves creatively, and it's great. It's wonderful. And so speaking about me and my beverage, you always come in, and when you come in, you get my French roast. Why you like my French roast? What's your...
I just really like a dark roast, no sugar, no milk, and I think that this typifies the best of a New Orleans dark roast. And locally, it seems like a lot of the coffee shops and coffee houses are into a medium roast.
Yeah, or a light roast.
And they'll always go, hey, it's a full-bodied medium roast. And I'll always go, will you put a shot of espresso into that, please?
To give you some,
Because this is what I like. And just to give you an example of how much I like this kind of coffee that you purvey here, in my house I've got 2 or 3 avocados, I've got some grapes, a couple of berries, maybe a loaf of bread, a dozen eggs, not much else in the fridge, but I do have 5 or 6 pounds of dark roast in the cabinet.
Look, it's...
I don't know, man. I need to have...
You like the dark. My French roast is
that.
really, it's dark. It is dark.
Yeah.
But it's not super burnt like some French roasts.
No, it's not. You prefer to call it a French roast.
It's a French roast.
Yeah, okay.
It's definitely a French roast. It's actually a little lighter than what I would even call a French roast, but I call it. Here's the thing. Our roasters are antique machines. Okay. And so I've got to have higher airflow to clean up and do more modern, lighter roasts.
I hear you.
But those machines had a certain CFM on them, the airflow through it. So what we do is we move for that coffee, we move the airflow back down to its original airflow to really create what that old antique machine would have created, and that's it.
It's like making music, Kevin.
It's
not different. It's not that different from making music.
It's art, and New Orleans is a feast for those things.
Yeah, it's not really even that different from making guitars. You have a certain formula, but you know that this guy plays differently than that other guy, so you might just lean the guitar in one direction or another. And there's subtle changes that the average person may or may not get.
And it's being able to take those that and adding that human touch to it to really create something that's cool and different.
You know, when I lived in this neighborhood, I had coffee here every single day, virtually every single day for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
pretty attached to this.
And you're in here once a week these days.
At least, yeah.
Sometimes more than that.
Yeah, sure.
And then, so come see Chip. Follow our social media. Chip will be playing here out on the front patio from time to time. I'm privileged to have him here. I hope you all enjoy him as well. And just to really create to add another spice into the flavor of St. Roch Market.
Yes, indeed.
And I couldn't thank you enough. And so anyway, thank you for coming and check us out there. Yeah.